hurdles that come up in the practice. So shamatha is our primary anchor. The breath is what we bind to. We land on the breath. That's our destination point when we enter into the meditation. And we also come in with an understanding that we don't know what's in store for us, and we don't have control over what happens in the meditation. So whether or not the sun is in our eyes, or someone drives by on a quad, or some painful memory emerges, we know that in the sphere of the Gataka we've chosen, that external stimulus, and sometimes even internal stimulus, is outside of our control. So all that we can have access to is our choice of how to respond. And because we've decided on the modality of shamatha, the way that we respond is returning to the anchor, which is the breath. That's our only activity. That's our only interest, is landing on an observation of the breath. And let's just be clear here about linguistics. Observation of the breath is not manipulation of the breath. It's passive. So we're not making any shifts to the rhythm of our own respiration, however shallow or unrhythmic it might feel. We're just observing it. As things come up in the practice, we blend in an attitude of choosing to host whatever comes and just returning to the breath. And one of the inquiries that you can pose, particularly when a strong sensation comes up, and some of the stronger hurdles to work with in meditation are self-doubt and condemnation. So when you hear the self-critic come online, and that aspect of your psyche enters into the meditation space, the inquiry is, even though I'm feeling fill in the blank, even though I'm feeling doubt, hesitation, distrust, guilt, panic, whatever it is, even though I'm feeling this, am I willing to just be with myself right now as is? That's the inquiry that you're engaging with as you continue to return to the breath. So, in other words, if shamatha as breath awareness isn't enough of an anchor to release the distractibility of guilt and the critic, some strong aspects of our psyche that come online at about age 7. For all of us, cross-culturally, universally, at about 7 years old, we start to develop the cognition that we're separate than others, and then that difference starts to create some insecurities and criticism. So at around age 7, across the world, the self-critic turns online, and she's still online when we sit in meditation, no matter what age we are. So we respond to her like a 7-year-old. What do you need right now? Do you know that we're practicing shamatha? This is what we agreed on for this gataka. So let me know what you need, right? Kind of befriend it, like I'm aware of you. And I want to let you know, the 7-year-old self, I'm willing to be with you just as you are right now. You're perfect just the way you are right now. Just come in and sit with me, and we'll attend to other grievances later on, once the bell rings, because she'll come back after. So you're asking the organism to just feel what's arising as you focus on breath support. And as some characters start to announce themselves in the practice, like give them an age and a name. Or sometimes like it's just an attitude. Like I have in me, who came up this morning? The planner mind. She's a very strong aspect of my character. And I'm super grateful for her. But she knows like there's a time and a place. And because I kind of have made that clear with her, meditation's a lot easier now because she knows that that's not her time to speak, but she has a lot of time to speak later on. For those of you that know me, know that's really true. So like she trusts me more because when I'm negotiating with her, and this is one of the psychological modalities in internal family systems that therapists will work through with the clients, is write on the board all of these different roles of the self and who needs what right now. And you negotiate with them. So, okay, this 7-year-old self-critic, like she's having a tantrum. And she really needs to just be held and hugged and like put a pretty bow on her and say, come sit next to me. Like you can be my favorite right now. You as the internal mother, as the central leadership self, come and host her. Let her know, I'm aware of you, and I'm willing to sit through this practice with whatever concerns and grievances you have. And she starts to trust you. And part of the negotiation process is actually listening to what it is that she needs and then delivering it realistically. So if she needs to go out and play in the grass, then you say, okay, and you negotiate. We'll give you that time this afternoon. We have a break. Right now, you have to provide some discipline structure. We're practicing Shamatha. Come and sit with me. I know you're here. And later on, you're going to have some time to just really be the full need. And you have to give her that. And if you negotiate in your meditation with her, and then things get in the way later on where you don't deliver what you promised, she doesn't trust you. And she will get louder until her needs are met. So it's what I said last night, which is that the aspects of the self that constellate around the central mother, they become less disturbing when they feel like they've been heard. So, and I'm bringing this in as we train in Shamatha because a stark Buddhist practice in Shamatha is just return to the breath, return to the breath, return to the breath. And the aspects of the psyche, just the 7-year-old doesn't like that authoritative stance. We have to address kind of the softer needs within the system. So yes, we return to the breath. But if we're not also skillfully applying attention to the areas of ourself that need to be heard, then returning to the breath will be a task and not a sacred practice. Questions before we sit?